Caitlin Clark, there's still fallout going on from that Time magazine interview and the absurd comments from the BET co-founder. Did you see what just happened? Matt Barnes dropped a bombshell on the WNBA and it's got everyone talking. Matt Barnes has come out and made some very interesting comments about Caitlin Clark and how the league has dealt with her and how the league is basically petty, jealous, absurd, you name it. The NBA champion and podcaster didn't hold back when he called out the league for its petty and jealous response to Caitlin Clark's success. You might be thinking, what's the big deal? Well, buckle up because this story is about to show you how one rookie is shaking up an entire league. From record-breaking attendance to merchandise flying off the shelves, Clark's impact is undeniable. But now, it seems like the very league that should be celebrating her is trying to bring her down. Want to know why? Keep watching because we're about to break it all down for you. Let's talk about the Time magazine controversy that's got everyone buzzing. Sheila Johnson, the co-founder of BET and owner of the Washington Mystics, just stirred up a hornet's nest with her comments about Caitlin Clark's Time Athlete of the Year award. It's just not Caitlin Clark. It's Reese. We have so much talent out there that has been unrecognized. And I don't think we can just pin it on one player. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the League of the Year because of all the talent that we have? Can you believe Johnson suggested Clark should share her award with the entire WNBA? She actually said the league as a whole should have been recognized instead of just Clark. And that's where Matt Barnes comes in, dropping the hammer on Johnson's comments. He didn't mince words. Let's take a second right now to have a moment of silence for Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson, who suggested that the WNBA as a whole should have been on the cover of Time magazine instead of just Caitlin Clark, who graced the cover last week. Which is probably some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Yes, he called it some of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Barnes is saying what we're all thinking. How can you try to diminish the impact of a player who's clearly bringing so much to the game? Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? Isn't it nice to share? But here's where it gets really interesting. While Johnson's trying to downplay Clark's individual achievements, the numbers tell a completely different story. But the Twitter community was quick to remind Sheila that a majority of their success, as far as attendance, came from the Caitlin Clark effect. Over 31% of the Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. Did you hear that? Clark's impact on the Mystics alone is mind-blowing. Get this, 31% of the Mystics' entire attendance last season came from just 2 games. And guess who was playing in those games? You got it. Caitlin Clark and her team. But it doesn't stop there. Other teams were so eager to cash in on the Clark effect that they actually moved their games around just to fit in Clark's fever team. That's right, the entire schedule was shuffled just to make sure Clark could play. When's the last time you heard of that happening for a rookie? So, what does all this mean for Clark's future in the WNBA? With numbers like these, you'd think the league would be rolling out the red carpet for her. But instead, we're seeing this bizarre pushback. It's like they can't decide if they want to celebrate her or sideline her. But hold on to your seats, because this controversy is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot more going on behind the scenes, and it's about to get even more intense. You think you've seen a rookie make an impact? Think again. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game, she's rewriting the entire financial playbook of the WNBA. We're about to dive into some numbers that'll make your head spin. Before Clark joined the Indiana Fever, they were just another team in the league. Decent attendance, okay merchandise sales, nothing to write home about. But then Clark stepped onto the court, and boom, everything changed. Fever's jersey sales were up 1,000%, and attendance was up 250%, and they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000 per game. That's not an error, 1,000%. Fans couldn't get their hands on Clark's jersey fast enough. It's like everyone in Indiana suddenly decided they needed a piece of Clark in their closet. Attendance? We're talking about a 250% increase. The Fever also went from playing to decent crowds to packing in over 17,000 fans per game on average. Can you imagine walking into an arena that used to be half empty and now seeing it bursting at the seams? So yes, the WNBA was growing before Caitlin Clark. Make that abundantly clear. But it was growing incrementally compared to the exponential growth you're seeing now. And this is just data. This is just objective facts. Be mad with theta, please do not be mad at me. Now you might be thinking, surely the WNBA is thrilled about this, right? Well, that's where things get weird. Despite these jaw-dropping numbers, it seems like some in the league are trying to rain on Clark's parade. Matt Barnes, never one to mince words, called it out. He's saying the WNBA is actually trying to discredit the momentum Clark is bringing. Can you believe it? You've got a player who's bringing in fans by the thousands, selling jerseys like hotcakes. And instead of celebrating her, there's this bizarre pushback. But here's the thing, the Fever's management isn't blind to what's happening. Amber Cox, the COO, is hinting at big plans to build on this success. And of course, Cox is hinting about a free agency, which is coming up, and they do have to try to re-sign Kelsey Mitchell, right? If they lose Kelsey Mitchell, this team will take a step back, there's no doubt about it. So they got to re-sign her, and add help. They're talking about strengthening the team even more. It's like they've struck gold with Clark, and now they're gearing up for a full-on gold rush. So what's really going on here? You've got undeniable numbers showing Clark's massive impact. You've got a team ready to double down on their star player. But then you've got a league that seems hesitant. It's like they can't decide if they want to embrace their new superstar or keep her at arm's length. But here's where it gets really disturbing. Matt Barnes called out Clark's own teammates for not having her back. She had to really prove herself. Missed out on the Olympic opportunity and really had a lot of hard knocks early on in the season where she was getting beat up and her teammates were just watching her. I think the camaraderie in that locker room grew, and that team started playing together and made the playoffs. But if you like the video, please like and share the video. Can you imagine being a rookie, getting roughed up on the court, and your own team just stands there? The constant physical punishment is raising serious concerns about her safety on the court. Some are even saying she's being targeted. But wait, there's a plot twist. Angel McCoughtry, a retired WNBA star, is so fired up about this situation that she's offering to come out of retirement. She is the one that said that she would be more than happy to come to the Fever to be the physical enforcer for Caitlin Clark. That's right. A veteran player is ready to lace up her shoes just to protect Clark. This isn't just about rough play anymore. It's about the future of women's basketball. Angel also believes that she can bring invaluable experience to young players around the league. That's what players like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan did. They weren't afraid to be a leader. It's astonishing that a retired player feels the need to step back into the game just to restore some stability. But there's even more to this story than meets the eye. The physical challenges Clark faces on the court? They're just the tip of the iceberg. While Caitlin Clark's been dodging elbows on the court, a much bigger game's been playing out behind the scenes. What if I told you that the WNBA's reaction to Clark isn't about basketball at all? Matt Barnes is about to blow the lid off this whole situation. Let's take a look at what Clark's done for the league. Caitlin has brought a ton of new opportunities, a ton of new eyeballs, and more money to the sport. So, instead of downplaying the magnitude of who she is and what she's brought, enjoy the ride and take advantage of the ride and do everything you can to show the fan base why they should have been watching before Caitlin came along. She's brought in record-breaking crowds, sold jerseys like they're going out of style, and got people talking about women's basketball like never before. You'd think the WNBA would be throwing her a parade, right? But instead, we're seeing this weird pushback. It's like they're looking for reasons not to celebrate her success. And it's not just talk. Remember all those hard fouls we talked about? It's like some players are trying to literally push her out of the game. Now here's where it gets really interesting. In her Time magazine interview, Clark didn't just talk about herself. In the article, Caitlin obviously accepted the honor but also was quick to pay homage to the black women of the W's past who helped pave the way for herself today. She gave a shout out to all the black women in the WNBA who inspired her. She's showing respect to the players who came before her, but it seems like some people in the league aren't returning the favor. So, what's really going on here? Matt Barnes thinks he's got it figured out. He says Clark is damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. No matter what she does, some people in the WNBA just aren't going to accept her. But why? Barnes drops a bombshell. Think about this for a second. The mighty NBA is losing ratings, but the WNBA has got this new star who's bringing in fans by the thousands. So Caitlin is someone who has, if you look at it, done everything you're supposed to do and has been criticized along every step of the way. While the NBA ratings continue to drop over 30% as they try to figure out who is going to fill the shoes of LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, the WNBA has a golden goose sitting in their league. It's gotten better, but it's done everything to kind of discredit the momentum and eyeballs she's brought to this game. According to Barnes, the WNBA has a golden goose in Clark, but they're doing everything they can to discredit the momentum she's bringing. It's like they're scared of change. Even if that change means more fans, more money, and more attention for the sport, you'd think they'd be thrilled, but instead, it's like they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle. So, what's the deal with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA? We've seen how she's taking the league by storm, breaking records, and packing arenas. From scoring to assists, from Indiana Fever franchise records to league-wide history, Clark didn't just enter the WNBA, she turned it upside down. But instead of celebrating her success, some in the WNBA seem determined to bring her down. From petty comments about her awards to dangerous fouls on the court, Clark's facing challenges from all sides. But here's the thing, this isn't just about one player. Clark's story is shaking up the entire world of women's basketball. She's bringing in new fans, boosting ticket sales, and getting people excited about the sport. And that's got some people nervous. They're worried about change, even if that change could be exactly what the league needs. I tell you, fans are watching the Indiana Fever this season. They're gonna watch the response of this team and her teammates. Her teammates started getting called out. Rightfully so. They should have been called out. They didn't have Caitlin's back. Will they have Caitlin Clark's back this season? It's worth asking that question. So, what's next for Clark and the WNBA? Will the league embrace its new star or keep trying to hold her back? And how will this affect the future of women's basketball? One thing's for sure. With Clark on the court, nothing's going to be the same. Are you ready to see how this plays out? But here's the kicker. While everyone's arguing about numbers and impact, there's something else brewing. Caitlin Clark's rookie season isn't just about breaking records. It's about breaking through barriers, literally. Clark's explosive playing style and incredible scoring ability made her an instant threat from day one. But as her star rose, so did the intensity of the physical play against her. We're not talking about normal defensive pressure here. This is next-level stuff. The Chicago Sky in particular seemed to have it out for Clark. Let's just look back. Diamond DeShields, of course, giving her the Ed Reed during the middle of the game, Chicago Sky game, just slamming into her like it's the NFL. Kennedy Carter, Angel Reese, the clothesline from hell. Man, if you got rid of Chicago Sky, the assaults on Caitlin Clark would immediately be dropping by like 70%. Dejanay Carrington multiple times. Players like Diamond DeShields, Kennedy Carter, Angel Reese, and Jonai Carrington weren't just playing tough defense. They were dishing out some seriously aggressive fouls. In a shocking moment, DeShields straight up slammed into Clark during a game. This wasn't basketball. It was more like a WWE move. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel.